Hasbro has launched 3 Marvel HASLAB campaigns. 2 were extremely successful. 1, well, not so much. Well, the HASLAB time is upon us again, and I think I've figured out what's coming. I'm going to make a wild prediction / wish list here for this year's project, so stick with me. The Marvel Legends celebration line for 2023 has been 60 years of Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers. Even though last year the Legends line celebrated 60 years of Spider-Man, the HASLAB was a totally different IP, Ghost Rider. And I feel like this year the Legends team are going to keep it in line with the theme. Now I think that a few key factors will influence this year's HASLAB campaign. Number 1, the failed Ghost Rider campaign from last year. It showed that the perceived value is everything. Backers need to feel like the base offering is worth the price tag, not depend on the tiers to entice people to pay. The tier unlocks need to be desirable, they should have less reuse, more unique parts and sculpts. The financial balance reasoning that they provided in the Sharders interview for normal releases should not apply here. Now next of all, the pricing of the other successful HASLABs from different brands within Hasbro, like G.I. Joe and Transformers, they prove something. The HASLAB does not have to be $400. It could be less, it could be more. They shouldn't try and stick to that price point just because of what they've done in the past. Both Joe and Transformers have had successful campaigns at various price points under $400, so they could do it too. And lastly, the Transformers team has shown us that the tier revelations up front have helped their campaigns. They lay out all their unlockable tiers up front when they launch their HASLABs, and this lets potential backers know up front what the value of the entire package is to them. This allows them to make a decision earlier, make the necessary financial moves that they may need to make in order to get and back that HASLAB. Imagine not feeling that it was worth it, spending your money on something else, and then they let you know the last tier, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I really want that, that makes it worth it to me, but you've already moved money around and bought other figures. Tell people what the deal is up front, so that way they can make a decision and make the financial moves necessary. Not everybody's rich. Okay, so here's what I think they're hopefully gonna do, or at least what I wish they would do. Like I said, I think they should keep it on this year's theme, the 60 years of Avengers, but I don't think there's gonna be a vehicle involved, and I don't think there's gonna be an extremely large figure like the Sentinel or Galactus. Instead, I think they'll do multiple figures in a range of scales, similar to some of the old San Diego Comic-Con box sets that they released, except take it up a notch. So here's my best guess. So I think for the base offering, they're gonna satisfy what people have been asking for a long time. Giant Man. So picture this, an 18-inch Clint Barton Giant Man. You know, the old school one with the half shirt like he's going to the beach. Secondly, a villain. 18-inch Goliath, Eric Jostin, West Coast Avengers villain. When I was growing up, I really dug him. His costume is different from the hero Giant Men. He looks good, and we've never had him represented in a figure. He also went by Power Man before he was able to grow. Thirdly, Black Goliath. Got a 12-inch version in the Marvel Universe line. That thing goes for about $200 on eBay now if it's in good condition. Never been to Marvel Legends line. He needs some representation. I think we also need an 18-inch Hank Pym Goliath. Yes, we had the bath, but I think that was, 13 or 14 inches? I don't remember. But still, really expensive to collect all those pieces. It's from a long time ago. Could use an update. And I think the last edition for the base offering should be an 18-inch Ultimate Giant Man. We never had Giant Man from the Ultimate Comics. I don't believe he went by Goliath. I'm pretty sure he went by Giant Man. It's a dope costume. It's more modern. Looks more like a tactile outfit. And I think it would look good in the collection. Now with each of these 5, I don't think they should just come plain Jane. I think they should have swappable heads, hands, and some type of energy effect that could stick on their back to make it seem like they're growing. So after those 5 base offering, you gotta entice the people with the tiers. So tier 1, I think should unlock at $15K, and I think it should be a lab coat Hank Pym. Early in West Coast Avengers, when he wasn't using his powers, after all the stuff that went down when he was Yellow Jacket, Hank Pym was just working in the lab, doing his science stuff, and he had a lab coat. We're getting tactical jumper Hank Pym this week, apparently, in the West Coast Avengers box set, so now we need lab Hank Pym. That should be easy to do, just a lab coat for Egghead. Got plenty of shirt and pants bodies laying around. I think this one would be acceptable for reuse to lighten up the load on their pockets. Alright, tier 2. Here's where we start getting our money's worth. I think it should unlock at $17K, and I think it should be a villain, Graviton. Now, if you don't know who Graviton is, look him up. He's badass. He was an Avengers villain. He was the main villain in the beginning of the West Coast Avengers when they did their limited series run. He was the main villain in the first 2 episodes of Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes. Best superhero cartoon ever made, by the way. And I think he would be awesome. He should also come with a flight stand, some effects, and the blank. Now, why do I say the blank? Because the blank was his sidekick, his flunky, and it's an easy figure for them to do. They don't have to paint anything. They can just do a grayscale figure with no paint, kind of like they did with the Fallen one. Alright, Tier 3. Unlock at 21,000. Master Pandemonium. He should come with swappable hands. Not just any old swappable hands. He should come with a set of hands that look like demons coming from his sleeves. And he should also come with a set of hands that look like the Maximoff baby twins. That would be freaking awesome. Now, his shoulders would have to have hinges for intermittent clicks in order to hold up those heavy pieces. They couldn't just throw the regular old arms in there. They need something that's going to make sure that you can pose him with those heavy forearms and fists. Now, the 4th tier, I think should unlock around 24-25k. Supreme Intelligence. 9 to 10, 11 inches, somewhere around there. Doesn't have to quite be a foot tall, but that would be freaking awesome. That would give both the collectors and Hasbro their money's worth for putting something like that out in the 4th tier. People would flock to that. It would fund no problem, in my opinion. You get a nice, big green blobby head with little tentacles floating out of it. God, that would be so awesome. And again, no electronics needed. Keep costs down. Just a great original sculpt to put on our shelf. So I know you're thinking, Fanboy Destroyer, you must be crazy. Hasbro could never afford to do this. Yeah, they can. Now let's look at why I think this is possible. Now for the base offering, those 5 figures, yeah, they're 18-inch figures, but they're smaller than the other offerings. They're nowhere near 23, 24, 25-inch figures that were done in the previous HASLAB, but they're big enough not to be a standard release, like the Super Adaptoid or other figures from the 12-inch line. And for this, they could make that first mold and then use the same mold for the other 4. So that way they're not doing 5 unique sculpts. All you got to do is customize the heads, work your magic on the body. They don't have to have that super high-end articulation that the past 2 Hasbros had. Galactus and Sentinel were off the chain. You don't need to do all the engineering. Just make sure they have all the bells and whistles that a good figure should have. Diaphragm crunch, torso rocker, ab crunch, butterfly joints, pinless elbows, pinless knees. That's it. Just give us a regular figure. I think they found out last year that we collectors want substance over flash, so we would be just fine with that. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Now, I do think that each should come with more than one head. Maybe 2 to 3 different heads and 2 to 3 different sets of hands. Maybe articulate the toes, kind of like Renew Your Vows Spidey, and we're good. And now pricing. For that base offering, I think 5 18-inch figures without all that high-end engineering, they could do $450, and I think it would be worth it. That's $90 per figure. That's about what they cost if they were hitting retail. If you look at the prices of recent figures like the Blob, and I think it works. And if they only get enough backers for the base offering, that should cover it for them. But the key difference here, where Hasbro will make their money, is unlockables. I don't think people will be able to resist those, especially if they do original sculpts for like Master Pandemonium and Graviton and the Supreme Intelligence. Those are much sought after figures by collectors everywhere, and it's a carrot to dangle that will make people go for it. Now, one thing I think they must do, I think they gotta announce the tiers up front. Stop playing this silly, slow trickle lowball game. Let people decide early and have time to get their money together. If you have people that are looking at this and you get to tier 3 and they're still on the fence, they may commit their money to something else. They may order an import figure. They may go out on a splurge. They may go on Big Bad Toy Store and order up some stuff because they got money to burn. And then you come out with the last tier and they're like, whoa, Supreme Intelligence. I want that, but I didn't know, so now I don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. Dude, just tell everyone up front what the tiers are and the people shall come. All right, guys, so jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Do you think this is out of the realm of possibility, or do you think this is something Hasbro can do? I don't think it's too far-fetched. They've done similar things for Comic-Con box sets before. I don't think this is too much of a stretch. I think that my pricing is right on point. But I could be crazy. I probably am crazy. I look crazy. Let me know. Make sure to sound off in the comments. Let's talk about it. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. Make sure to keep coming back for more. Again, thanks for all the support, everybody. Spread the word, share a link. Till next time. Geek out.